Alright, guys, and welcome here to the beginning of Group C in PiGFest 8. Bottom right side of the map, we've got Hero in the red, playing a PvP. The 2-gate Cybercore, the 4-second gas build is standard in this matchup, but KRYSTIANER in the bottom left side, the up-and-coming Polish player, coming in as the 4th seed in this group. Some would say a surprise qualifier. I would say a very scary player, even though I know some people are not as familiar with KRYSTIANER. If they only watch the very, very top of the international semi-finals of big tournaments, KRYSTIANER has been winning weekly cups and making big runs in the European scene for a very long time now. Solid timing attacks, in love with warp gate timings, in love with all-ins, loves a proxy robo, and in generally a very aggressive player. But he goes for the quick second gas there, and you can see, despite that, Hero actually has a bit more gas mined because he's put 3 workers on gas immediately, and he's kept them there this whole time. Now, Hero already scouting down here, making sure there's no proxies. You could tell Hero because he's proxied down there many times on this map against opponents, especially Terran players. I think it was Clem he got, right? I think Clem spawned bottom right. He did a proxy Void Ray here, ran in, got the first few Marines in the Cyclone, and it was lights out instantly. I think after this game, we'll censor Hero's camera just a little bit, but for now, this is good. 2 adepts for Heroes, a nice scouting opening, and it looks like a proxy Stargate down here, guys. Pylon does come up, and indeed, proxy Stargate. Meanwhile, KRYSTIANER, normally a very timing attack-oriented player, a guy who just shoves 3-gate, 4-gate, proxy robo, this sort of stuff, and yet, so far in this game, he's looking a bit more contained. Where's his chrono going to go? No, it's okay, it is just going to be a 1-base robo, but defensively oriented to start, and this could actually do very well, especially if he finds that Stargate. You can see the Stalker's on a path to see it, but if he changes that path, which he's about to, that Stalker's going to go north, I believe. Is it going to go north or south? North or south? North or south? It goes south! Okay, it could have easily gone around the other direction, but that is good for him. Stalkers are going to find the Adepts over here as well. It's a bad start for Hero. Whoa! KRYSTIANER attacks his own Stalker for a moment, though. Slightly sloppy there. Does it really matter, though? These Adepts take a bit of damage. They shade there, and you can see the Stalkers are right on top of their case. Now, these Stalkers ignoring the Adepts and going for the Stargate is... Wow! Okay, I would have never thought to do that, but that's kind of smart. He realized if he depowers the Oracle, this completely takes away the power of Hero's build, and he's happy to trade a Stalker for it, which I think is probably worth it. If you think about it, the Stalkers will beat these Adepts as well. If he can stop a probe coming over to rebuild that, that'd be amazing. Of course, it's Hero, so he will come over and rebuild that because he's a crazy person. He is the king of doubling down, isn't he? He's got a Nexus on the way behind this. Warp Prism is building for KRYSTIANER. KRYSTIANER is just going to go for a 1-base Stalker all in, and you've got a depowered Stargate. You've got Adepts that are more of a harassment unit rather than a frontal fighter. You've got a Nexus on the way. Hero's trying to play fancy StarCraft, and I'll tell you who you should not play fancy StarCraft against, guys. The guy who's going to charge at you and just smash you in the face with a hammer. And that essentially is KRYSTIANER's style of PvP. He did very well, you know, in the qualifiers. He did very well upsetting a bunch of good players just recently in general with decisive timing attacks. And you cannot count him out. That being said, he's not built a battery. The Oracle's just been repowered. Oh, no. Oh, and he's about to warp in on the front, which means he's not going to have a warp in available for another 10-15 seconds, I think, when this Oracle comes in. Oh, this is really scary. He's going to lose his entire economy. He's only got 3 gateways. He's going to snap recall 2 Stalkers here. Pretty quick reaction, I got to say. KRYSTIANER handling that better than I expected. Dives in on the front right now. The force field's trying to hold him off, but he does just shimmy away with the Warp Prism. Takes out the Adepts. Nice, smooth micro here for KRYSTIANER. He's going to take out 2 of these Adepts, surely. Oh, only 1. The other one does escape. 2 Stalkers are there at home. Is this going to work out? There's an Immortal on the way. If he can deny the natural, KRYSTIANER can probe back up and transition from here. I don't think he breaks the high ground because there's both Force Field and an Immortal and a Shield Battery. Force Field comes down, but of course that only buys time. The Warp Prism can pick those units up and drop them on the other side. Oracle comes back in, takes even more damage. Hero is under heavy threat right now. He's not in mortal danger, but there's just so many buildings and investment that's on the low ground that's going to get picked off. Not to mention that gateway is probably an easy target in the follow-up. Depth's trying to come in. KRYSTIANER is showing that he is thinking, I can't break you. I do need to probe back up here. And that's a good sign for the Polish player. Immortals. 2 Immortals are out. I think Warp Prism has to be next for Hero, but he's very supply blocked right now. Does lose that gateway as we expected. Shoving the ramp would be a crazy move. But there's no sentry here. Looks like Hero lost his sentry, guys. I didn't even realize he did lose that sentry. So there's no way to actually stop KRYSTIANER running up that ramp. But now a new sentry does come out. Probe count is still building. Stalker's going to start breaking his way out. KRYSTIANER builds yet another unit out of the robo, this time an Immortal. Oracle comes in and snags 1-2 probes. Takes a bit more damage, of course. And Hero's going to back away. It's tempting to go for a gold base after you break out here as KRYSTIANER. Oh, he's going to have to deal with a 2 Immortal drop. That's very scary. I like that he threatens the ramp there, though. Honestly, yeah, it's either you go back up that ramp again as soon as that force field's out, or you run home right now. And looks like KRYSTIANER is going to go home. Denying the Stargate would be good. There's more infrastructure here, right? That could be really valuable pickoffs. But he's got to get home because that double Immortal drop will potentially beat 3 Stalkers and 1 Immortal of his own. Hero, of course, building another gateway, building more Immortals, more pylons, just kind of probing up. This is going to go down. Recalls available, but Hero, he's in the base. He takes out 1 probe to start. The Immortals are trying to trade there. KRYSTIANER's got to pull back that Immortal. Whoa, he's going to lose one. The Adept Shade in the front at the same time. Hero here with a brutal combo. Oh, that is the most Hero thing ever. Gets a brutal combo, gets massive damage, but then his full Warp Prism hangs around way too long. Loses the Prism with 2 Immortals inside. He ruins KRYSTIANER's economy. That is so much damage. 8 probes in such a low economy situation could be game ending. And yet losing the 2 Immortals and the Warp Prism is worth so much that I think this is perfectly fine for the Polish player. KRYSTIANER, a player who's very dangerous in this matchup. I think it's the worst possible matchup for Hero, to be playing against him here. It's a scary one. The Oracle is going to go down. That Adept, though, is going to find a few more probes. The Oracle and the Adept will go down, which means the presence on that side of the map is gone. KRYSTIANER comes in, great force fields. There's no Prism out, which means these force fields, there's no counterplay except the force fields of his own, whereas KRYSTIANER, a little slow on his Warp Prism pickups here. Great force fields, though, allow him to pick off and isolate one of the Immortals. If he shuffles forward and focuses this last Immortal now, I think that's going to be it. And indeed it will. KRYSTIANER is going to take game 1 from Hero here. A really good move from KRYSTIANER. Defensive robo. So funny. I think of KRYSTIANER as normally the guy who builds the proxy, but he realized Hero's as aggressive as I am and maybe even crazier and more loose, right? KRYSTIANER is more of a decisive guy who commits to a timing attack that is very well defined, often before the game starts. Hero is more of a vibes gamer who's very fluid, and I feel like he just let Hero overcommit into him with the Adepts and the Stargate. Goes for not the fastest possible Prism Stalker attack, but against a guy who's overinvested in that Oracle, the Adepts, and a Nexus. There's no way you can defend a 1-base Stalker push. Well played. Alright, guys. KRYSTIANER in the top right side of the map. And look at that, guys. Even the idiot controlling the scoreboard got tricked by his own expectation. Let's flip that around. Sorry. That's 1-0 to KRYSTIANER, isn't it? It's only a best of 3 as well. Remember, these are brutal group stages. Hero in the bottom left side of the map. Now, of course, Solar is playing against... Oh, am I having a mental blank? It's Cure, right? It's Solar versus Cure in our next match after this. Winner versus winner, losers versus loser, of course. And it is going to be interesting because Hero, everyone's saying, oh, he's going to play Zerg. I asked him, he said, no. If he plays against a Zerg player, he will not be playing Zerg. He said he'll play like Zerg or Terran or random if it's a weekly tournament. But he said for big tournaments, he's still going to play Protoss and try his best, but he's just kind of going, ugh. It's really tough right now. He says, I've tried a lot of things. I made some suggestions to Hero. I said, oh man, I hate to be that backseat guy, but like, oh, what about this and this? He's like, yep, I've thought of those things. I've tried them. I can't make them work, And it'll be interesting to see what he brings out if he does get to playing Solar in the winners or the losers match today. I think a lot of people would expect a Hero versus Solar winners match, but you gotta realize Cure is incredibly scary. I think this is probably the group that's most up for grabs, with KRYSTIANER being the biggest underdog. The guy where people look at it on paper and go, oh, who's going to be first? Like, obviously, Hero's the favorite. Solar Cure fighting for second place is, like, on paper what you'd expect. But realistically, especially now with KRYSTIANER taking game 1, I think this group could go anyway. And I think on a good day, Hero smashes both Cure and Solar. And on a bad day, they can absolutely dismantle him, right? Hero is a wild player. Not the most consistent. Now, he's gone for a scout. KRYSTIANER is not. So KRYSTIANER is just like, I'm just playing 2-gate, proxy robo in the middle of the map. Super decisive. Like I said, decided before the game started, and I like it. He's saying 1-base robo is my jam. Let's do it. Now, Hero should be a bit more respectful after that last game. There's no pylon. There's no probe production. There is no attempt to even hide the fact that you are proxying. And the safe response is to go for your own defensive robo. Now, the trick here is you need to get a Warp Prism out very early so that he can't like force field you on your ramp or anything like that. Obviously, an Immortal can be good, but if you go Immortal first, you just have to be very wary that you don't have the ability to pick up and kind of get away from things. Hero's keeping mobility and map presence with the Adepts. He's also hiding a probe directly behind the Natural, just in case this is a mind game. And he will see that Robo in the middle of the map right there. The old hiding it in the middle of the map. You know, it's so funny because often this works because players will go, oh, you're proxying me, and they'll send their Stalkers or Adepts, split them up and go around the edges, especially if it's Stalkers. But because Hero went Adepts and went straight through the middle, he actually finds Christianer's proxy very early on. Adepts going south there. Stalkers moving in and out. Nice cancel. Warp Prism's on the way for Hero. So it is indeed Warp Prism for him, whereas it's an Immortal first for Christianer, which is a bit more standard. When you're on the map like this, you want a fighting unit that can defend the proxy if your opponent goes for it. Now, way back when, pre-Shield Battery era, I think it was, right? When proxy Robo was it was so popular. It was every other game. One of the best transitions was actually one-base Stargate Phoenix. I think it was Parting who really popularized that, where you're both building Immortals, you're both building Prisms, and then rather than expanding, he'd hide a Stargate in the back, he'd get 3 Phoenix out. When the fight starts, he'd run in and just pick up 3 of your Immortals and disable them, and it would be crazy how efficient that would be. They could also shoot down the Warp Prism as well, pick up sentries. Back then, sentries were light units, so they took extra damage. That Prism cannot go back in there. This is a really nice Adept drop. Well worth the Adepts. Just trade the 2 Adepts, keep the Prism alive. Like the discipline there. Hero a bit traumatized and showing a bit more respect to the Stalkers this time with the Warp Prism. Now, up 1 Immortal is Christianer. He's been very consistent on that production. Hero's got a lot of sentries, but moving to the low ground is always a very difficult thing. Looks like he's deciding. Keep committing to the Adept. Counterattack. Defend at home. Neither side has room for that Stargate just yet, and especially with Christianer's economy taking a big bruising, only 19 workers is really rough. Hero pokes in, sees that Christian is being responsible, a shield battery and 2 Stalkers at home. And Christian is going to see, okay, that's a very powerful defensive setup. Now, he recalls the Prism. You know what's interesting? He showed him the Prism recall on purpose to try and bait Christianer to send the Stalkers across the map. So then the Adepts can shade in. That was literally a 300 IQ move. It didn't work, but Hero is such a stylish player. He's like, oh wait, the hallucination's coming in quick. Gotta recall that. Now, to be fair, it's also because he wants to do the Immortal drop. But he's gonna shade in and kill a few probes. He's gonna get 3. Will he get 4? Yes, he will. Not bad, man. 4 probes up, the ones he got earlier. And then the army's out of position for Christianer, which means you can snipe the pylon. But look at that! Christianer says, guess what? I can cosplay as a pylon. The Warp Prism siege is up there. By the way, I never realized it has almost like a little pylon glow beneath it when it is sieged up. That's cool. Does allow that extra Immortal to come out. We'll no doubt have to send another probe forward if he wants to keep using that Robo in the future, though, as that Prism can't stay there all game. And look at this. Hero doing such a good job of just staying on one base. He's mining a lot more resources. Oh, he's got to be careful. You know what's funny? Those 2 Immortals beat these 4 units. So this is a very risky move for Christianer. If those Immortals unloaded quickly and the Prism pulled back, he could have killed a few of those Gateway units. So it's actually quite risky what Christianer did just there. By the way, does anyone miss my old pronunciation of Christianer? I kind of do. It was a much more fun. But I always want you guys to know, if you ever think your words don't have power, people got angry at me so many times. It was such a deluge of comments of people going, it's just Christianer. Because I used to say KRYSTIANER, which I think with the funky spelling here is a way cooler way of saying. I think that's way more fun to say. KRYSTIANER. Immortal Sentry coming forwards. Here we go. Oh, he does save his units. Good pickups by KRYSTIANER. I heard your old way and I still say it that way, says chat. Nice. Guys, Hero's not got an expansion. He's got a 17 army supply. That's that economic damage doing its work. Oh, Christianer loses one of his Immortals almost immediately. Oh, he's just getting overwhelmed. These Adepts are so good at tanking. The Immortals don't do their bonus to armored against those light Adepts. And Hero here showing supreme patience in this game. This was just such a good handling of a proxy Robo. Showed just a really good ability to send minimal small little counterattacks across the map, little harassments, and find big damage with it. Good pickups there as well. Christianer goes for a desperate immortal drop on the other side of the map. The battery has meant he hasn't killed a single unit yet, and he's going to have to tap out because his main base is being breached at the same time. Unable to deal with that immortal drop at home. Hero, a mixture of adept harassments and, of course, warp prism harassments while just holding in the main. Very safe play for Hero. And Christianer now in a 1-1 with Hero. All right, guys. Hero in the top left side of the map. Christianer in the bottom right. Playing for onside up against T1 Hero. Now, what do you do as Hero here, guys? Do you once again just scout with a probe and just play reactive? Hero likes to be the one acting, getting aggressive, but I think against Christianer, the way he played in that last game, where it's a mixture of scouting, safe, reactive play, it seems like the correct way to play because Christianer is a man of timing attacks. He loves to commit to timing attacks. His whole playstyle is based around it. And, you know, really, he's very good at them. He really is very powerful at just playing a timing attack over and over until he's got all the little details very well practiced and ironed out. And you can't be sloppy against that at all. You'll just be dropping games so quickly. Thank you, Gummy Bear and Jamsy, for the subs. Welcome to the Pigsty. If you guys have been enjoying the games, don't forget to click those sub buttons. Click the follow, click the subscribe, like and subscribe. Drop some comments. Now, no scout for either side, but notice this is a 1-gate opening for Hero, guys. So Hero's about to go build a Nexus. Does he go Cybercore then Nexus, is it? Blind 1-gate expand against Christianer is one of the most insane things you could do. But he's not got a second gas, so what else could this be? Is Hero insane, guys? Is he going to go take the gold base? Like, what's he doing with this? Hero? Oh god, I think Hero's a drunk, or excited, or styling. Blind expand against Christianer. I could not think of a worse strategy on paper. Hero's the guy who'll pull it off. Don't get me wrong, I have faith in Hero. Hero's strategies are always vibes based. They are never based off of anything except vibes. And he's like, yeah, this guy all-ins a lot. You know what? I'm going to blind expand. I mean, yes, he scouts, but he was already committed to putting the Nexus down by the time he scouts Christianer. Christianer doing pretty standard opening, but notice he's only on 22 probes. Focusing on that Stalker production first and foremost. This probe is following Christianer's probe, which is a good idea. You do not want him building a proxy too close to your base. Because with this opening, Christianer could just build a gateway outside your base and actually build a 3rd and 4th Stalker, or 5th and 6th Stalker there while these two rally across. Probe does hide for Hero. Nicely done. This probe for Christianer disengages. He's chronoing his warp gate. No surprises there. This looks like a 3-gate attack. I like this loop around. He sees no Nexus. Does he see the chrono? He doesn't see where the chrono got used. But seeing no tech is in of itself a worrying sign. And Hero is probably going to be checking for that gold base. 3rd and 4th gateway go down. Christianer doesn't even care. He's like, you see it? I don't care. This is about timing, baby. And the fact that Hero has gone to the expansion against Christianer, either he has not studied Christianer, hasn't played him that much in the past, or he's giving him the ultimate disrespect, because a guy who loves to do 1-base all-ins, taking an expansion against him is insane. Then again, Hero is the guy who has consistently scouted double proxy Marauder and decided to build a Nexus against it, which is one of the most insanely unnecessary greed decisions that we ever see. Here we go, Stalker's coming in. The battery's going to go down. That's already a pretty good start there. He's going to have to pop the Guardian Shield. Oh, that Stalker takes some damage. Oh, that Stalker going down could be big. That force field's kind of nice, though. Oh my god, Hero keeps the Stalker alive, and he kills two of Christianer's Stalkers. Hero, that's an illegal move. Sorry, guys, we're going to be giving him a yellow card. Unlike the Football World Cup, we won't be, rewinding and canceling the play, but we will be punishing. That was ridiculous. There is a lot of Stalkers warping in. His Immortal's not here, though. The Immortal's not here, dude. He needs to get back up that ramp. He can't stay on this low ground. That force field ain't going to do nothing. He needs that Immortal, man. He's trying to hang on with 1 gate, 1 robo production. The Stalkers of Christianer are very wounded. I love that Hero chases him. He's outnumbered 2-1, and he chased him all the way out there. Hero staying on this low ground is patently insane. This is crazy. I mean, there's almost no healing left on this battery. The Immortal comes out as if it's the daddy, but it right now is the prey. Oh, it's going to go down to that volley. He does take out 3 of Christianer's Stalkers, though. It's not a cheat move. And remember, if he can just survive, Hero will be able to win this game eventually. Another battery is about to come online. Hero playing some absolutely delectable micro, but he's doing it from such an unnecessarily hard position. Strategically insane, tactically the best player in the world. That's basically the description of Hero in a nutshell. But he's put himself in such a difficult situation. And now he's going to have to give up his Nexus. Christian at this time hasn't taken any damage behind it. Hero should probably warp in a pylon and send Adepts in, because that's what's given him success against Christianer so far in this series, right? It's Adept counterattacks. So if he could build a pylon on the other side of the map, get some sort of counter pressure, Warp Prism will also be able to do that. That could be nice. He's building a second gateway now as well, and he can hold his ramp. Christian is going Twilight Council and a Nexus. So Nexus is about to go down that pylon. I would say unnecessarily close there, but this is Hero we're talking about. He's going to go for an Immortal 2 Stalker drop. He knows this is a 4-gate. 4-gate cannot get up that ramp. There's no way. And Christianer realizes, oh, he might fly out with a Prism. I should go check for it. But his game sense is just slightly off. He should have done that about 30 seconds earlier. Oh, okay. This is a good scout, though. He should realize that's not the whole army. He should absolutely realize right now it's got the better of him in the previous games. He's going for a scout through here with the Colossus. He's going to see some stuff, but he's got to recall. He's got to do it now. If he doesn't recall, he's in trouble. He does recall, he'll lose one pylon. He's already replacing it, realizing, yep, that's going to go down. Honestly, I think Hero might be able to kill the building one as well. A little risky there, but the Prism does get away for now. He's going to drop on the low ground and just look for another pickoff there. Obviously can't stay for much longer. And once Blink is done, this harassment time is up. But it's running circles around Christianer right now. He's got to be careful. There is a Stalker from behind. Could get a hit or two on the Prism would be nice, but you don't want to lose the units, and that's what Hero is looking for. He's fishing with that Warp Prism using its mobility. There is a pylon behind his base. He's building a shield battery as well. Hero with some ridiculous plays. The shield battery building in vision. There's two Stalkers on top of those Adepts. Can he defend right now? Chrissy is in trouble, man. The Immortals coming in on the front. The force fields actually avoided pretty well by Christianer, and good counter force fields. His batteries are exposed on the front line, but you can see this battery coming up in the back. What a crazy situation this is right now. I honestly don't know how this is going to unravel. I feel like Christianer might have enough units to hold on. He's got a few Zealots warping in and thing as well, which could be really good because they tank damage really nicely. That pylon will eventually go down in the back. There's a lot of Stalkers up here. The Prism has to watch out. The Prism! It goes in too deep. But wait, this could work out because that's not quite enough Stalkers to overwhelm two Immortals. So he ends up getting a couple of Stalker kills. There's Adepts in the main base as well. Christian is multitasking, really getting tested. And this is going to equalize the economy. You know, you've got two bases. Hero's only got one. But you're actually down 4 workers. So there's no tangible economic lead right now. It's going to take minutes until that Nexus really means anything. He's even chronoed his Nexus there in panic, realizing he's taken some damage, but I think he needs to focus on defending more than anything and probably energy recharge the sentries, because I think if he doesn't have enough force fields, like those Immortals are a real problem. That being said, Blink is now available. The fact that he hasn't dealt with this pylon is hilarious, by the way. Like, he knows it's there, but he's so worried about this army on the front. He can't justify moving units away from the front even for a second, and kind of just shows how scary the situation is. The Observer watching everything. Hero doubling down right now. Nice defensive force fields for Christianer. Good Blink micro for him as well. He's got exceptional micro. Remember, he won the coin flip, so he is back on his server here. Central US server, slightly better for Poland than Korea. The Immortals coming in, a third one joining the fray. Those force fields are so good. He dives forward. He does get the Prism, but I don't think he's got enough Stalkers to deal with those Immortals. And Hero with the Prisms, the Immortals, the Sentries, the Stalkers is going to be able to overwhelm, but a nail-bitingly close and very fun series to start the day. Hero gets a taste of the Christianer fire, and that's why we love Hero, guys. A lot of people, you know, I love Hero, and if you're, some people go, I don't know why. He uses the select all army key. His mechanics aren't really clinical. It's not perfect efficiency. Yeah? Name another top pro who knows their opponent's going to probably do a one base all in and goes for a blind expand against it. Huh? Huh? Hero literally is the guy who doesn't know how to swim. And he's like, I'm just going to jump into the ocean and hope I figure it out. And he has a very high success rate of figuring it out. That's why we love Hero. He will put himself in deep waters, and sometimes he does drown, but a lot of the time he doesn't. And suddenly he starts swimming like Aquaman. He grows gills. He starts spouting water like a dolphin. It's great. It's amazing. It's Hero. And that's why we enjoy his games. Well played. Hero goes to the winner's match. Christianer not out yet. He will go down to the loser's match. Another best of 3. If he wins that, he'll get to the best of 5 decider match for second place from the group. All right, guys. Second match of Group C. Kira in the top right side of the map. Solar in the bottom left. It's a pool first opening for Solar. He's worried about the threat of a pool proxy barracks. And of course, it's not a bad, safe opening either way. You know what's been really interesting, guys, is I have seen a lot of Terrans not SCV scouting. I haven't really seen anyone opt for like a 3 or 5 roach pressure or anything like that, like an old Lambo 5 roach pressure. I wonder if those build orders, if someone's going to either adapt those or like, what about like do you guys remember the everything on 14 build order? I've really been wondering about that. So it's a build order. It used to be where you'd build a proxy hatch on 14, a gasser pool both on 14, go roach warren, and you'd proxy hatch a Ravager really early next to their base. So I do wonder if builds like that might come back at some point as well in different forms. For now, 6 Zerglings coming out. Blind 1-Rax Reaper into Command Center on the low ground. That Reaper, of course, will be the first scout in this game. It's especially hard for the Terran to defend these 6 Zerglings if this Reaper goes across the map. The fact that the Reaper is rallied defensively kind of tells me that Kua might actually just sit at home and play safe. Solar pretty much never goes for like a 1 base all in. So arguably your Reaper doesn't need to scout, but no, he's going to move out, and that's a bummer. So the Overlord sees him leave. The Lings are going to wait for him to get most of the way across the map, and that's going to time out really nicely so they can come in. Now, do you try to cancel the command center? I don't think so. It's got like 1,000 hit points, but you just kill the SCV, go after the Marine. Second Marine is already building. 1 Zergling goes after the building SCV. The other Zerglings go after the Marine. And you can see, once the SCVs get pulled, he says, well, as long as those SCVs aren't mining, I've already done my job. Turns, does take out 1 more SCV quickly. Very good micro here for Solar. Nice start for him. Good handling by Cure, I gotta say. Feels like he hasn't really overcommitted, as long as he doesn't lose any more SCVs. Well defended. Now, notice, Cure did not trust his multitasking enough to send the Reaper in at the same time, so if there was roaches coming behind this, it could be quite far across the map by the time he sees it, but I think 9 times out of 10, most pro gamers are just going to be macroing behind it, as Solar is, going Ling speed, building Queens, building drones, and looks like he'll probably just be working his way towards the 3rd base as well as saturating the natural. Incredibly fast 3rd command center has come up for Cure, of course, lifting his factory. Oh, because he had to delay the reactor. So he figures, well, I might as well use the factory since there's no reactor to build double Hellions yet. And he's going to catch this Overlord. It's going to die over this beach here. Chunks of meat hopefully don't end up on the surfboards down there. Reaper rotating through the middle, and it's going to be a 2-base lair opening. It feels like Mutalisks, but I don't know. Part of me wouldn't be surprised to see an Evo Chamber go down, a Roach Warren, and this just to turn into some Carapace Roaches. But definitely Ling Speed, 2 gases. It does look more in that Mutalisk vein for now. 2-base Mutalisk, a pretty solid opening these days. Q has no doubt had some practice against it. And taking the base to the north, good choice for Solar. Now, I was saying to people just before the series started that Solar, I think, is a much better on paper ZVT player than Cure is TVZ. But Cure has a good win rate against Solar that belies that. You know, if you put them up against the best Terran and Zergs that aren't these two in different matchups, I think Solar does a bit better against Clem, Bjorn, and Maru than Cure does against Raynor and Rogue and... or maybe not Rogue, but Raynor and Serral. The international Zergs are a problem for Cure. But Cure's just been very good at dealing with Solar. He's really good at identifying when he's trying to, you know, pull off a sneaky one. His timing attacks are good, and Cure might not be the craziest multitasker, but he's just incredibly solid at knowing where and when to look. And it's kind of funny because, like, we know he has a weakness where he can't really micro 3 places at once like Clem without Banelings connecting with Marines and missing a few splits and things like that. You know, he's an actual human who plays incredibly high level, but it's not Clem speed. But he avoids those situations so well in this matchup, where he's very good at, like, keeping control of the tempo so that it's always the Zerg reacting to him rather than the other way around. And that means that he's not getting caught off guard in those situations. Now, Solar sees the Banshee tech. He should be building a Spore in the main, maybe the 3rd base as well, just on the edges. And of course, he's already got an Overseer morphing as well that'll help him defend. But the Banshees have been incredibly defensive here for Cure. So to go Cloak and 2 Banshees and then just hide them in the back, not the most impressive usage. It kind of feels like, why even bother letting Cloak finish in this scenario if you do suspect Mutalisks? And he has now confirmed the Mutas after seeing that early Overseer. He's going to build a whole bunch of turrets. guarding the workers as well as the minerals. This turret I kind of wish was a bit lower, because I think mutas are going to come in and always be able to deny these workers. But I guess the mineral line is probably more important, right? If you put the turret a bit too far south, the mutas can loop around the north. So I can understand that reasoning. Now, what Evo chamber timing is there? It looks like one Evo's already up. Solar, if you can start carapace relatively fast, you won't be too far behind on the upgrades. And normally the bioplayer is meant to be very far ahead on the upgrades. That being said, Q's economy is absolutely soaring. If he can defend this first big mutiling wave without taking too much damage, he'll be good. But he's only got 11 Marines. And it is going to be a Baneling time. It's slow Baneling. I mean, we see a lot of players go for a speed Bane timing, but Solar just doing a slowling Bane timing. Wow. I guess he sends like half into the third, half into the natural. And the Banshees did indeed sneak around. They kill a queen there. And then they're going to try and maybe go hide somewhere else on the map, but not having those Banshees at home means a significant amount of your damage isn't there, and Stim's not ready. Oh god, Stim's not ready! Stim is not ready! Oh man, Q is third base. Could be in trouble. Not to mention his natural. 2 Banelings, a pack of Lings split off there. The depot wall does go down. Q is supply blocked. He's building 3 more depots right now. His Hellions have to be careful not to get caught out. He needs that Stim in 1-1 so desperately. Oh, Q has just been a bit too greedy this game, hasn't he? And he's not. He needs that Stim in 1-1. It's just not ready. The Banelings are slow. Slow Banelings this late in the game, normally not the best. The moment Stim kicks in, they fall off a cliff in terms of efficiency, but the Banshee commitment really has not paid for itself, has it, guys? If he had the Banshees with him, I think he could have focused down a few more of those Banelings. But as it is, 21 workers, tons of depots. Stim and 1-1 are now finished, but they're coming in a little bit too late. It looks like Solar's taking a massive lead with a really cute timing here in game 1. Baneling speed about halfway done. Second Evo chamber goes down. Solar's now got his third saturated. Remember, he did that without having his third saturated. His fourth base is only now coming down. There's a world where he only kills 10, 15 workers there, and it's still recoverable, but 25 workers? And the turrets, the mining time. I mean, look, he lost 5 depots as well. That's so hard to recover from. And I like that Q has pulled off gas here. He realizes minerals are the secret to recovering here. Get the mineral economy back up, then you can transfer back to gas. They try and build a second factory. Just turtle up for a while here. But of course, Terran is always a little bit uncomfortable. As good as mules are, the ability to only build 1 SCV at a time consecutively with no chrono boost, no lava inject, Terran cannot pivot their whole economy into rebuilding workers as hard as Protoss or Zerg can when they take damage. Which sometimes makes Terran feel a little more frustrating. And as much as, you know, players who play the other factions, oh, but mules are so unfair. But when you take that many losses, it's a little bit more comeback play usually for a Zerg or Protoss. Then again, Solar's not going to have Hive for a long time. He's going to be stuck on their tech. And the secret here for Cura is just going to be make a lot of Marauders, Widow Mines, and hopefully you can make some magic happen. The Banshees split up really nicely here, trying to just evade as long as they can. But with Overseer now having speed, you can see its many eyeballs unblinkingly. Oh, actually, it did just blink. I said unblinkingly, and then the Overseer blinked. I didn't know the Overseer does blink, guys. I just found out a thing about the graphic of the Overseer. Look at its eyes. They actually blink pretty frequently. You need some eye drops, brother. Been trying to squint at these blurry Banshees for the last few minutes. Oh, I like that. Now, for those who don't know, if you collapse these rock towers, it will destroy these 3 mineral patches. This mechanic is very rarely used, and it's on 3 southern bases and then 3 northern bases. So if you can go do that, you will remove late-game minerals from your opponent's side of the map. Now, Q has got 2-2 upgrades on the way. He's got a lot more Marines coming in. Does feel like Q does... He wants to get presence on the map. I mean, there's not that much creep spread, to be fair. Solar's not going to Hive, not got that much creep spread. I think if Q can max out with a really impressive Widow Mine count, he might be okay, but oh, the Mutalisks hammer through those Marines. Not quite enough to deal with that. It's frustrating. Can't afford any losses. Q has to be pumping mines right now. He's only building 1 at a time. He needs this factory to just be non-stop building. And these 3 barracks need to get Tech Labs and Marauders. If you have a spread of Marauders on front with a spread of Widow Mines behind it, Lingbane muted it, just the efficiency falls off a cliff. And that's why Solar being maxed right now, 90 workers going to Hive. I think he should go for a big attack right now. Maybe wait for +2 carapace in 30 seconds, but honestly, the earlier he trades, the more he can just swarm over and overwhelm. If he lets Kua get 4 bases fully established, there is a chance of Kua dragging this to the late game and that early momentum lead slowly disappearing. Widowmine does take out a friendly Fire Marine. Mutalisk count is up to 22. They're going to dive in from there. Ling Bane dives in on the right side. Kua with a hot pickup, but his wall off was not complete there. The Marines getting overrun. The Mutas are in the main base at the same time, but let's keep an eye on these Banelings, as I think the Mutas are just hitting barracks right now. They're not really doing anything too impactful. The SCV's running away. He hasn't lost too many workers just yet, but he's losing all 3 of his Marauder barracks in the main. The missile turret's going to go down, and that's going to be about 20 worker kills as well. So much damage. And that's a perfect time for Solar to trade. His hive should now be finished. Indeed it is. He's got macro hatcheries coming up. Gets a few SCVs on the way out. Does lose the Overseer. But Kua just needed another minute to get that big Marauder Widowmine spread that I was talking about. Now he doesn't have time to do it. There's Ultras will be coming out. Adrenal Glands, +3 carapace, +2 flyer attack as well. Probably goes armor after +2. And yeah, he's even queued up the armor upgrade. +3 is not only too expensive, it takes too long to upgrade. So the armor will help out a lot, especially if Thors get added into the mix. +2 Thors can 2-shot Mutalisks unless you have +1 armor. Kua's just hanging in there. It's been a terrible start for him. This isn't necessarily about winning the game. It's about sending a message to Solar that he's not going to be easy to put in the ground. And can he hold this planetary? It's a lot of Banelings. I think Solar just commits the Banelings on the planetary. Does take out a few SCVs as well. I think that was okay for Solar. I mean, it's not super cost efficient directly, but when you're up on 6 bases and you just keep your opponent on 3, hard to take a bad trade from there. 7 more Overlords are building, guys. You might be wondering, why build 7 Overlords? He purposely wants to build extra because he's going to be losing Overseers throughout the game. And this just ensures he will never be supply blocked unless he really throws a lot of Overlords and Overseers away. Bio counter push for Kua. It's a dicey decision. I mean, there's not many Ultras out just yet. Mutas are still going to counterattack. I just don't think you can push on creep without getting wiped by Banelings, but doesn't have a command center to replace the one that got taken down. He's now going to start rebuilding one, but it's so very late, and even though he's up in army supply, good luck dealing with this army that now has Ultras out. Chitinous plating, is that 20 seconds away? Yeah, about 20, 30 seconds away. Mutas in the north. Marines do intercept. These barracks are isolated as well in the main, by the way. Bio trying to pull back. Ultraling Bane coming forwards. He's not got a lot of Widow Mines to help him defend. Overseers will come forward and clean this up. And Solar, very clinical, really trying to not overextend. You can see he's not really rushing things. Just picking away at Kua and looking for the correct engagements. Ling Bane rolls in. The Widow Mines get a few decent shots. Those Ultras tank the last few shots very easily. Banelings, the Lings, Ultras, they trade. It's not a perfect trade. Most of the Marine Marauder survives, but you're looking at an economic situation that is bleak. 4,000 minerals a minute. Someone crunch the numbers on that. I think that's 25 minerals a Zergling, right? So if he's building pure Zergling, is that 160 Zerglings a minute? Or am I crazy? If he were to build nothing else, that's an absolutely ridiculous amount of Zerg that can come out of this economy. A couple of Banelings not really getting the best connections there, but Kua just, his rally is so slow, and Solar can remax time. And again, he's got 6 Ultras, 5 of which have just popped out. They're coming from all different directions. Is he going to be able to overwhelm that? Ultraling Bane starting to roll forwards. The Widow Mines haven't really found the big booms that they've been wanting. Ultraling Bane rolling forwards. The Bio Thor trying to pull back in this area. Ooh, okay, the Marines getting caught up top, isolated from the rest of the pack. The Ultras are going to take those down. There's not enough Marauders. He needs a big ball of Marauders. Same time, Mutalisks find that third base, ransack that mineral line. The Marauder count is too low. Q is going to have to tap out, and he's just too far behind. If we have to break this down, guys, simplest terms possible, I basically put this down, this game, to the Cloaked Banshee just not really getting any value and going up against a 2-base lair, which he did scout earlier. I would have loved for him to have actually cancelled the second Banshee, cancelled the Cloak, got into Stim a bit earlier. Because imagine if he has Stim a bit earlier, this massive window of timing doesn't exist. But Solar, he saw, hey, you're not even making Stim yet. And he realized, like, I can just make Ling Bane here off of my first round of mutas. You're not going to be ready for it. I don't even need Bane speed. And that was very clever of Solar to take advantage. He knew he was going to be behind in income. But Solar takes advantage of the fact that Kua's upgrades were too late. All right, guys, going into game 2, Solar with a nice momentum lead off of that opening. Kira in the top left. He's got to be a bit annoyed. Felt like he got taken advantage of. The 6 Zerglings at the start put him on the defensive, and then he got caught off by the next wave as well with the Lingbane. So it's not something he enjoyed. He says being on the back foot sucks. Let's go 2-Rax Reaper to get on the front foot. This is a build order that I feel like on paper puts you even further behind on this patch than previous ones, but I guess I was always a hater of 2-Rax Reaper, even on the 12 worker start the previous season. I don't know. I see such good success, and I love some of the follow-ups. It really does feel to me like it's a little bit about having a hard to predict follow-up to make this sort of build order work, and Q is usually very good at that. It's going to be going... Oh, he's not doing 2-Rax Reaper, it's his 2-Rax Marine. This is the original Bomb Cloud, guys. Many years ago, if you guys go back 8 years, when Thermal was running his original Terran school, his original Bomb Cloud was make 2 barracks, make a bunch of Marines, do the most random, kind of crappy pressure you could imagine, and watch your opponent's brain break, because they're like, why are you building 2 barracks and doing this kind of light, but not that light Marine pressure? This is such a stupid build. But it can actually be really powerful. So it denies the scout really quickly, because you get 3 Marines on it. You can build even more Marines and go build a bunker to try and deny your opponent's 3rd. But usually what you do is you just push across, you force the Overlords into a tighter pattern, and then you just get a Tech Lab and a Reactor, and essentially you delay your Command Center a bit, but it allows you to have this very funky follow-up. And there's some crazy follow-ups. Like, you can literally do a 1-base Marine SCV all-in with Stim. Like, there is some because they just don't have any way of scouting past your wall in and seeing if you've got a Command Center or not once this Overlord goes down. The Overlord sees the barracks in the depot, but he probably thinks it's Reapers, but he pulls back for safety anyway with the Overlord, and Q doesn't know where it is. So Q is fanning his Marines out. He's like, okay, time to reveal him. He's like, wait, where is it? He's like, where's the Overlord? And he finds it. And the Overlord, of course, trying to make a getaway to this bit of high ground. I think he should maybe just send the Marine around, because I think that Overlord makes it. Oh, no. He's got enough DPS. Never mind. I'm really bad at judging that. It still had quite a way to go to get to the high ground. The Marines do get the kill. Q, he's going to go natural command center into 3rd barracks, reactor, and I do expect a tech lab there. He's got the gas, but prioritizing SCVs for now, and that tech lab does indeed go down. 2 Zerglings will sneak around, confirm what the follow-up is. Solar will pull back his Overlords. You can see he's got them in pretty safe positions, and he's just going to stay away from any idea of a 3rd base for now, which is the correct call. Zerglings do try to come in here. Has to send an SCV. Yeah, it'll take a while for them to kill that depot. But Marines are building. Q is going to have a 3-Rax Marine pressure. Now here's the advantage of 3-Rax Marine, guys. Powerful forwards pressure. You can hit a really good timing with Stim off the first Tech Lab and then Combat Shields off the second one. Downside, hard to scout. It's not as mobile as Hellions. You can't heal after each Stim because you won't have Medivacs for a while. So committing onto creep with those Marines is a very dicey move. And we see Zergs misjudge, not have enough units, and die to it or take like crazy damage all the time, right? So it is tempting as a Terran to dive in and commit, but if the Zerg is well prepared, the correct move is move across with your Marine Stim pressure, maybe deny a creep tumor, and then just back off. You want to kind of make the Zerg build a lot of army. You don't want to throw your Marine ball away. If it gets surrounded and then the Zerg can just hold the drone key down and cover the map in creep, usually the Zerg takes a really big lead. Now, Solar's going Carapace, which is very standard against this, but it will never be ready in time for the initial Stim timing. It's just kind of for any sort of follow-up. So the initial Stim timing usually has to be defended by just having a massive Queen Zergling. It's all off 1 gas for now, of course, for Solar, which makes sense. Rule of 1 gas, trying to get his 3rd base as mineral saturated as possible. But I think probably at about 6 or 8 workers, at most on the 3rd, he should start massing Zerglings. If he waits any longer than that, this timing could be really rough. Stim actually started in the main, interestingly. I guess it's safer there. Can't get busted like the outside. Factories on the way, as well as a 3rd and 4th gas. 4 gas before 3rd command center? Q is playing 2 base, baby. And you know what? He's already thinking about sieging tanks across these ledges. Maybe a tank there, tank here. Spreading Marines around. He's going to be doing a big 2 base pushing style on this map. It has some good ledges, but it also has plenty of counterattack paths and ways to loop around. Like, even though this ledge can be a nice area for siege tanks, the Zerg can kind of always just give up bases on one side and expand to the other side. We saw Beyond recently try to do a 2-base push on this map against Solar, and Solar put it to rest very confidently. I think Solar feels kind of unstoppable with his solid play on Rainfall right now. And he's got 6 queens, 7th on the way. He's building Zerglings. He needs to make more Zerglings. He got 13 drones on his 3rd before building any Zerglings. He's been so greedy. This should be an easy deny on the 4th base for Cure. But as that Zergling count grows, he won't be able to get more than that. Good preemptive cancel there for Solar. The drone's going to go hide behind the base. 3 Marines will hunt it down. Clears a bit of creep, gets the drone, and just backs away. Now, command centers are cheaper than ever, so I do expect the 3rd command center to come down soonish. But by not committing to it, obviously you can build more Marines, earlier medevacs, earlier tank. The fact that he went 4 gas tells me he's very committed to the aggression. Oh, Solar not watching. Doesn't even use a stim. The discipline for Cure there. He stims 1 Marine to get the drone kill. That was really cool. The Zerglings do bait a stim out of him now, but he's already got 2 medevacs almost out. Great discipline for Cure. Cure, if he had a superpower as a pro gamer, guys, it would be patience. You know, it might not be the snazziest, kind of coolest superpower, but he is always the most patient, methodical Terran. He's very unflappable. So I am always impressed by Cure. And he's actually the hardest pro, I feel like, for the semi-pros to play against, because he doesn't take very many risks. He's going to deny the creep. Look for this tank setup. Keeping Solar on 3 base is really tough. As I said, Solar can keep giving up expansions, but I mean, this is stacking up in the units lost. Not a single Terran unit has died. 1,000 resources down for Zerg. Solar's mining with 14 more workers, but that Marine count, 46 Marines. Speedbane's not done for 30 seconds as well. I actually think if Q is shoved here and forced to fight, even if it's on the edge of creep, it might have actually won the game. I don't know if the slow Banelings and the Zerglings could deal with so many Marines, but committing without +1 also seems like a terrible idea, so I understand why he chose not to. The Marines don't quite kill the Overlord. He's going to go for another drop on the right side. 3rd command center is finishing behind this. Finally getting that extra 100 mineral saving there. He's coming in the front. Ooh, okay. Yeah, hot pickup, hot pickup. Very nice pickups here. Solar's ready, though. If Solar brings these units in, oh, he comes in with a big loop around. The Banes get directly on top of the Marines. Devastating damage. Cure needs to deny the 4th on the other side, but I think he's a little too late. I don't think he can focus that hatchery down in time. He's just going to get a few hundred hit points off of it. Solar should be able to defend this, right? Ooh, this is a good trade, man. I mean, you can see, obviously, Solar loses a lot of units. Units lost tab still in Q's favor, but when you are taking a 3rd this late, you really do need that to be in your favor. Got Chadhammer on the high ground. Shield defend this expansion. I'd love to see this depot get repaired because that's such a fragile wall-off. Oh, redropping on the right side, a little bit crazy. Stims in on the left as well with very damaged Marines. Medevacs are out of healing juice. Picks up, saves most of the units on the right side. Gets a bunch of drones. Solar's in F2 mode. And that's a big mistake. Solar should never have F2'd to that right side. He knew that was only a double drop. That was unnecessary. Loses. I mean, I guess it wasn't an F2 because he sent some Zerglings back, but definitely a little bit of a misallocation of the units. Solar's been out mining on 3 base for a while. He's finally got his 4th up, but it's damaged. It still feels like this trading's very good for Cure. But Cure's follow-up, not amazing. 2-2 is so far ahead for Solar. Ooh, and this drop just got cleaned up on this side. The medevac's getting idled. Cure, bit wasteful there, but he does save 1 of these medevacs. Now at this stage, Widowmines, tanks, libs, none of these care about the upgrade difference. But Marine versus Ling Bane, if you fight when Zerg's up ahead, it's really bad. Right now, for the next minute and a half, it's going to be fine for Cure to engage. After that minute and a half, he needs to wait a while, turtle up, and catch up on the upgrades. And he's going 8 barracks now, which tells me Cure wants to keep the momentum. I feel like he kind of has to go for a 4th here. I mean, he can play drop play all day, so I guess that's fair. Chadhammer's going to try to defend from the high ground. Queen's on the right side, going to grab a few more queens. And picks up, saves most of those units. Does lose a siege tank, but I think that's okay. Spore Crawler does finish here. One of these medevacs will go down, that's fine. There's enough space in the other 3 for it. Oh, nice transfuse on the Spore Crawler. That's really cute. Keeps the Marines in a nice tight ball where they can fight. Spore Crawler does end up getting focused. Marines pick up and pull away. Solar playing that very defensive game, the Sponge Zerg, just trying to absorb all the things that come his way. His Marines get left behind though. Kua is playing well. Is this enough? Remember, he's only on 57 workers. Solar's keeping alive on 72 on 4 base. And whilst Kua's taking good trades, he needs amazing trades because Solar's just getting to a way better position. Solar's going for a very late Hydra transition here. I think I would argue that Corruptors would be better, but honestly, with how good his economy is, his upgrade situation, he's on 2-2 versus 1-1. Feels just fine. Anything that shoots up is going to make his life a lot easier, and you've still not got a 4th command center as Kua. He's building only Marines and tanks, and he is going to be all in on 2-2 with Mass Marine Siege Tank. Adrenal Glands, +3 Carapace, and a Viper, all on the way. The Viper will be ready for the 2-2 push. +3 Carapace and Adrenal will not, but they'll come in a few minutes, and it just feels like the sand is trickling out of the hourglass right now. You can hear time running out for Kua. With the style he's playing, it's all momentum. It's one big giant Marine tank army, and if you can get Solar to take a bad fight, Solar doesn't have a bank yet. Solar's got a massive work account, but it also means his maxed army supply will be significantly smaller than Kua's. Quad drop on the left side, 4 medevacs filled with Marines. 2-2 is kicking in. It's time for Kua to get moving. Bio tank lib goes to push the right side. The 4 Marine drop on the left is going to try and clear this creep over here. Solar has a big scary army right now, but he doesn't know where the army is. He's about to see it. It sieges up. He wants to take this ledge. He's going to bring the whole army to the center and try and take this ledge, guys. Ooh, okay, this is really interesting right now. Ling's coming on the left side. There's plenty of medevacs. He can pick those up at the last second. Does save most of those. Good trade there for Kua. Every time you fight fights like that, it's kind of annoying for the Zerg. Kua's maxed out. He's up about 25 army supply. Here we go, guys. Blinding Cloud coming in on one of the front tanks. The Marines running a little bit too far back, I argue. Yeah, the Blinding Clouds destroy the tanks. The Hydras clear the libs. And the Marines were too busy running, not really fighting. There was no Widow Mines there. He does clean up the Banelings, though. Ooh, he's still... I just don't think it's good enough, because as long as more Banes get made before he can stim into that base, I do think Solar's still got that good spot. He can give this base up as well. And look at that, so mature. Gives the base up. He says, let's not bleed into a bad fight. The Marine rally is fearsome. That 4th command center, though, only now building. And remember, the main is almost fully mined out. So Kua's mining is dropping. Solar loses a hatchery, but he's still got this one over here. I'd love to see more counterattacks, more run-bys. I think even just sending Lings in to trade on those SCVs would be good, but the rally point especially is a vulnerable point. Solar's going Lurkers and Lunge on the front lines. +3 Carapace is about 30 seconds away. When that upgrade kicks in, it'll be a big power spike. He's not there just yet. Lings will run in and trade on those SCVs. Obviously, Chadhammer will do a fair bit of friendly fire to her own SCVs as well. This is a very dicey spot. Kua would love to go to that winner's match. He doesn't want to go down to the loser's match. But Solar's being very scary, and that one Viper is such a problem, isn't it? And ducks a siege tank. Ooh, dude, if Kua was able to boost down and save that, that would have been an amazing save, but not quite able to. Lurkers are now up. Lurker range is almost there. +3 Carapace is in. Kua's been playing a kind of tempo-pushing style, but it feels like all the tempo has gone away. The wind is no longer with him. He's trying to sail against the winds, and I feel like Solar's just one good broadside battery away from cracking his hull. The Ling Lurker Baneling comes forward. There's enough Hydras to break the libs. There's no artillery on the ground to cover the Marines. There's no Widow Mines or tanks left, and that is a rout. The +3 Carapace, the numbers, and of course the Vipers all combining to do their work. Solar playing some excellent ZVT here. Tank getting some good shots off there from behind the wall off. Chadhammer, of course, she's on 30 kills as Kua taps out of the game. Solar with a decisive 2-0. An overwhelming favorite to get first place out of this group. And he does what many players expected, winning the first series. All right, guys. This is our elimination match for Group C. Unfortunately, here in PiGFest, one of these players has to go home. Will it be Kua in the top left side, or will it be KRYSTIANER in the bottom right? I do think that KRYSTIANER has a very tough matchup here. As a timing attack-oriented player, a player who's you know, very much like, I want to hit you with that crisp warp gate timing, hit you with that DT build. I don't know what KRYSTIANER's PvT is like exactly. I do think a lot of Protoss players are looking much more confident in PvT than PvZ, because Terran isn't quite as fast as like Zergling-based armies and as swarmy. And as a result, I think Protoss are a bit more confident playing the gateways a bit longer. not playing with the warp gates and getting the units out, but I haven't seen Krystioner use the new gateways at all. I think he's a very much pure warp gate player, so it's going to be hard. Is this best of 3? That's right, best of 3s, guys. Sorry, updated that scoreboard. Best of 3 until qualification matches, right? So unfortunately, you can get knocked out with 2 best of 3s. We start these groups with 2 best of 3s, or 3 best of 3s, one of them being the elimination match, and then it's 2 best of 5s, or the winners and decider. Final deciding match to finish the group stage. Winning the group in first place is a big advantage. These guys, of course, are just fighting to get through in that second slot. Cybercore goes down there as well. Just going to go for the Nexus over here. Nexus goes down very nicely. Krystioner going to be going for the pylon on the natural. Safe Cybercore first with a probe scout up against double gas. These are both very conservative, relatively standard, but conservative end of the spectrum builds. Kua skips the SCV scout, but he plays double gas to compensate. And of course, Krystioner goes for Nexus only after Cybercore and goes for a probe scout. This is very safe. Players feeling each other out. Nothing crazy to start. I'm very curious to see what Krystioner has got in store for us. I imagine we see Blink play off this opening, as is standard. But, yeah, there's a few changes in this matchup. Like Colossus are a bit better versus Marauders, which are kind of hard to quantify. It's hard to feel how much of a difference that makes. Extra Reaper and Hellion coming out. Command Center there on the low ground as well. More Reaper Hellion building. Quite a commitment to the early aggression. Now, I feel like 3 Reaper 2 Hellion's kind of weaker than ever. I think if your opponent spotted double gas, they're almost always going to build a shield battery. And that should be very hard to find damage. On the other hand, I've seen top Protoss players where they're just a little out of position with their units. And man, those 3 Reapers, those Hellions, they run in there. And so many probes go down so very quickly. And look at this, Kua being tricky. Gonna dive for that probe. Gets it. Well done. Super worth it. The Reapers are, of course, self-healing units. There is going to be a third Stalker out by the time the third Reaper and second Hellion arrive. Starport's on the way. Command Center's building. And, of course, he's now fully saturated his minerals, which makes up for that huge investment in the gas early, trying to make his way back into the mineral-focused play. Now, there's a Stalker on the high ground, which means it's going to be very slow to react here on the natural, and the battery's late. Battery needs to be ready by 3:45, 3:50, guys. It's not going to be ready till after 4 minutes. It's a real mistake. Krystioner a little bit late on that battery, and that is a disaster against Kua's very aggressive opening, but good probe micro so far. You know what? That could have been a lot worse. He loses 5 probes, only kills 1 Hellion. Obviously, it's an amazing trade for Kua. Actually, the Reaper does go down as well, but one has to realize these Reapers are going to trap themselves. Stalker will take a while to kill them. As long as he focus fires, he'll massively reduce their damage output as well. One Reaper's not going to kill probes very quickly, as long as Krystioner pulls that away. Oh, good micro by Kua to micro towards it, though. Oh, can he save it? No, he can't. Yes, he can! Hellion comes in. Good micro. Krystioner staying calm. Dude, sometimes people look at a guy who's not, like, won a big international tournament. In a scene as old as StarCraft 2, you've got so many guys like Kua who've been in grand finals, big international stages, world championship semis, that sort of thing many times over the years. And people think, oh, a relative newcomer like Krystioner, he's not going to be able to keep up under the pressure. But you see the handling of that. The battery not being done, so many players lose 10 probes. He loses 6. That's fine. It was 6 probes. He cleans up all the Reaper Hellion. But he's going for a 4-gate Blink Robo. So this is an old school build order. It's going to be very committed aggression. It's going to need to find really big damage. And as long as Kua keeps building siege tanks, he's definitely got a setup that can defend this. It's going to be execution-based. I would say this build is more all-in than it's ever been. This build was always very committed, but on this patch, where Terran gets 100 mineral saving on the command center, and you're paying, what is it, 100 minerals, 100 gas to transform these 2 gateways, you're basically 300 resources behind from last season doing this sort of build. I've been very vocal about how I feel like to be competitive, it's really, really tough to do these old school builds and still be competitive on the current patch, because you are going to be so far behind compared to where you used to be. So this is going to be a very, very, very hard situation to turn into a favor. But only 2 tanks, very low marine count. Kua's not respecting it at all. Kua doesn't know it's coming, and honestly, I think Kua might die. Yeah, he's only built 2 tanks. His marine production's been inconsistent. He's got an amazing economy, good upgrades. He's got the Raven going to harass, but I think he might get overwhelmed. If these Stalkers can blink past and kill one of the tanks early, it could just snowball very hard. But I'd like to see Christianer spread one in front and go for this tank on the natural, because this wall off in the main is very powerful. Yeah, that's a no-go. You're not going to breach that wall. He's got to go for the natural. SCVs are being pre-pulled here. Can he break through? He's super committed right now. Takes a tank shot. Almost loses a Stalker. I think Christian is being a little too afraid of committing. He's already fully committed here. He's got to send it. Now, he actually can ferry to the high ground. Oh! He's going to take out Stim and Shields. Hey! Oh, that's actually a clever play. Very clever play. And the tank can't fully shoot over here, but he's still in tank range. Prism takes big damage. He's trying to shuffle out. A lot of Stalkers do go down. It's a very dicey trade. 6 Stalkers, that much damage? That's really bad. On the other hand, he just dealt with Stim. Got rid of Stim and Shields, which means Terran can't push for a long time. Cure wisely throws down a command center, realizing he's going to be sitting at home for a long time. He's got to kind of turtle up here and just survive for a bit. Stalkers see that army go back up the ramp. These Stalkers could definitely go for the tank, but being a little sensitive is Christianer so far. Now, I think we'd love to see Christianer pivot hard into splash damage maybe from here, knowing that Stim's gone. You could go straight for it, but he's just warped in 4 more Stalkers, which means he's doubling down on finding damage here. And even though there's no Stim, there is a lot of Marines, a few more Marauders getting added in. Prism goes up on the right side. He was hoping to pull him out of position. He's not able to, and Christianer really just not finding anything hanging out in this series. Similar to his previous series, Christianer won the coin toss, guys, so he does start here on Central US. Next server will be US West. Slightly better ping for him than Cure in Game 1 and Game 3. Couple more gateways coming up. Forge, charge. Christianer shouldn't be building more gateways unless he's going to play an aggressive timing. He should be swapping back to gateways to catch back up. Because even though he's ahead in probes, that's a lot of money on gateways that could be on a 4th Nexus or tech right now. Could be going for splash damage. But as I said at the start of today's group, he hasn't learned how to use the new warp gates yet, like most Protoss players. And as a result, he's going to be missing that big eco advantage, whereas 100 mineral saving, 100 mineral saving. Vikings hunting for the Prism. That's going to go down if they see it, but they don't. They don't. Cure misses out. Cure's got a scary army, and he hasn't really taken a lot of direct damage. So now that Stim and Shields is finally finishing, this is basically just Mass Stalker with a few Zealots coming in behind it. There is a lot of gateways coming up. Are they going to be able to handle this? They realize that Cure has actually got the better army now that Stim and Shields is done. Stalkers are agile, but they're fragile. I didn't mean to rhyme that. They're agile, but they're fragile. They look good when they're blinking. They're microing, but they're weak. They're soft. They managed... I don't know, man. Stim Marauders are going to ruin them, is what I'm saying. He can't stand and fight. He's got to run circles and then win with Zealots. Maybe a Sentry would be great. No splash damage on the way. How many gases? He's playing 4 gas, but actually, no, it's only 3 gas. He's not mining off his 4th. No Storm, no Archons, nothing like that. Vikings do not actually get the Prism. Christianer's reactions are on point. He's doing a great job with his Stalkers, man. I just worry that his follow-up army might not be quite enough to break through. But Cure's bleeding out a lot of units. Cure's army kind of spread here. You can tell, like, Cure knows that Christian is very much a timing attack player, not really like a late-game turtler. And Christian, I think he would love for Cure to move out and get jumped on by the Mass Zealot Stalker, but Cure's not. He's turtling. He's waiting. And those Stalkers and Zealots are going to go for it. Here we go! Christian is going to push through. Dude, it's a big Protoss army. He blinks on top. Actually drags a few Widowmine shots onto him with the Blink Stalker YOLO. The right side crumbles for Christianer, though. The left side unable to break through. And Cure just a little bit too solid on the defense. It was a good idea for Christianer, but not quite able to break through there. And that's a really good hold. And now the splash damage comes up, but it's a little bit too little. Too late. 4th command center comes down there as well. Amazing that, you know, Christianer, without doing much direct damage at all, actually made that fight as close as it was. And it's just good handling of sniping the Stim and Shields and building economy behind what was a massive commitment. But obviously the unit's loss tab is now disastrous, and getting back in this game is going to be very, very difficult. Oh, the Widowmine retarget was very cute, and I like that blink into recall. Does lose 2 Stalkers, though. Extended Thermal Lance coming in, another Colossus. Second Robo as well. I do think if KRYSTIANER had noticed the tank was not that well protected at the very start when his Stalkers arrived, blinked in, sniped that tank, I do think he could have done more damage. I agree with that. See you guys saying that in the chat. But as it is, remember yesterday, guys, Beyond had this game in the bag. Exact same map, game 1 against Zaun. And then Zaun just hung in there with Stalker Zealot Colossus, ran around in circles on the map, and Beyond eventually just got overwhelmed. Now, Kua, I don't think is quite as emotional, I guess, as Beyond. A bit more solid, a bit more well-measured, unflappable. But look at this movement. Great movement for Kua. Gold base has to be abandoned. He's not making that call as quickly as maybe he could. Of course, he's occupied trying to defend the main at the same time. Oh, the Zealots kind of move in the wrong direction at first. A bunch of probes do go down. A few Stalkers will warp in here, but they're not going to be able to take down those medevacs. They'll go and hide in the dead space. Only one Colossus on the front right now. The second and third Colossus are out, but they're just not over here yet. You can see Kua has his 2-2 upgrades on the way. His drop rotating around. He's got a fourth base up at the same time. He's going to shove the front. Don't think he should commit to this fight. Just bait a few Zealots, and that distracts, which allows this double drop to maybe find more damage. But finally, KRYSTIANER shuts down the drop. Really well played there by Chrissy. And Chrissy's got those 8 warp gates up. So as much as the position has been awkward, he's got warp gates invested in. He's already paid that price. He's got a 5th base coming up over here. His work account's a little low. Does he have a second forge? No second forge. Does have double robo though, which I love. 3 Colossus, 10 Stalkers, 31 Zealots. No armor upgrades on those Zealots. When 2-2 kicks in, it's going to be disastrous. Great Widow Mine does land. Yeah, I think for KRYSTIANER, the big thing you'd really want here is second forge and probably disruptor production. Usually what you want to add at this stage, and then work your way towards Blink Dark Templar. On this map, the bases are really spread out. Notice Q is going to have a hard time defending these bases that are so far spread around the map. That's going to be really hard for him to deal with. Like, if you can get to the point where you're both sitting max for a while, Terran's got a billion commands and is sure, but can he be in the right position at the right time? And that's where KRYSTIANER can make some magic happen. His second forge does go down. He's not started any disruptors or anything like that yet. It's still pure Zealot Stalker Colossus, which is an army that does not scale well against, like, you know, 3-3 Bio Ghost, especially not with the upgrade advantage that Terran has in this game. Good blink. Gets a Widow Mine for free. Liberator's going to go around that side. This Widow Mine here also denies the probe trying to retake the gold base. Here we go. He's pulling back. Vikings as well. Chrissy is not a great shortening. It's the best shortening, mate. That's a good nickname. Call me Piggy, Chrissy, Curie. I'm not going to go for Curie. Liberator comes in on the south side. KRYSTIANER's got Kua pinned, but what can he do with it is the big question. That's a good move. The shield battery was a little bit out of range, unfortunately. Finally does deal with that Liberator. 5 probes and a Stalker, though. Not a bad Liberator. More commands in his R coming down as well. Yeah, we just call Kua Kai. Or Kaza would be his Australian nickname. Kaza, we could call KRYSTIANER as well. Be a bit confusing if we call either of them Kaza. 6 more gateways on the way, 2 more Nexi. So KRYSTIANER's dedicated to this mass gateway style. No storm. Not a lot of extra gas coming in. Lots of gateways. Dark Shrine. Love to see the Dark Shrine. Essentially with this style, you have to run around and wait for Terran to make mistakes. And try to force those mistakes where you can. And you'll try to attack up here with your army. His army moves to respond. 15 or 12, maybe 10 DTs blink in, kill the planetary, right? These are the sorts of moves you'll be looking for long term. Often players will have a few disruptors early because with the Stalkers you can, you know, throw a few disruptor balls, blink on a planetary, snipe it down. And you can see the balls now starting as well. 1 disruptor does begin building. Waits for that to fire before blinking, gets rid of the Widow Mine. Really well done. What's his observers like, guys? Like his detection? Oh, he has no detection. Oh, when the fight happens, the ghosts will be able to cloak and he has no answer. That's very problematic. 0 observers, and I don't think he has any cannons on this map either. Oof. That could be really annoying. I mean, it's not the biggest thing. There's other more pressing concerns, but yeah. Viking count is at 15. There is no answer for those Vikings. The Colossus will go down. The Stalker Zealot's going to go for the Overwhelm, though. I love that move. Kua's army supply a bit too small here, man. His bio army is a little bit unimpressive, and I think one of the big things we noticed yesterday in the games of Group B is when you get to this stage as a Terran, sometimes you got to lower that worker count. Like turtle it up. You got 7 orbitals. When you get a few more orbitals, you do want to start throwing away some SCVs. He's going to throw away some Vikings, which is kind of a cute way of doing it. Knowing there's no Colossus right now, it's very expensive to just throw that many Vikings away, though. Maybe a few of them. Pick up, fly away. He's going to try and dive on that right side. Okay. This could play to KRYSTIANER's hand. KRYSTIANER wants movement. He wants chaos. He wants you to overextend so he can catch this army. I don't think there's a Stargate on the map, is one problem. If there was a Stargate on the map, if he goes hides in the dead space, you can clean him up with a Phoenix. Ghosts are going to cloak. Fire's going to try to run away. Army's going to dive the left as well. It's the Vikings going back in on the left. Cute moves here for Cure. It's a few EMPs. A few more EMPs on those Stalkers would be nice. Libs and Bio trying to defend. That is an immense amount of Stalkers, but EMP Liberator absolutely hammers them, and the Stalkers have to move north. As we talked about, no answer to these Ghosts. The Disruptor's left hanging out in the open. Christian is in massive trouble. His whole army getting annihilated here, and this is a devastating series of trades. If anyone out there has a Protoss child watching the stream right now, guys, just a PSA for the parents watching, could you please cover their eyes? I'm about to show the unit's lost tab in this game, and I wouldn't want any young Protoss to see what we're about to witness. Oh, God! Oh, yucky. 10,000 resource advantage. Yuck, yuck, yuck. 23,500 to 13,500. Kua has been clinical. He goes down to commune with the giant hybrid spirit in the bottom left of the map. He says, hey, bro, what's happening? He's like, are you killing the Protoss? Q is like, yeah, I am actually. He's like, good! I bet on Terran always. That guy's a degenerate gambler, for those who don't know. 2 Disruptors are out. Disruptors are a nice comeback unit, but remember, this is the modern Disruptor. It still costs 4 supply. It still does not one-shot Marauders, even though it's gone back to one-shotting Ghosts this season, which is a very welcome change. Does shoot a little bit faster than it used to shoot, though. Zealot Stalker will clean up the Vikings at the same time. He considers going around. That is a lot of Liberators. Fire's going to come in here. Okay, so he's going to try and go back and hunt this army down. Probably the best move for KRYSTIANER. The Liberators are separated from the army. Q is going to split up the army. I think he realizes he probably can't keep all these guys alive, so he's going to triple drop in the main, dodging the Disruptor, taking out so many Nexi. EMP's the Nexus as well. Really well played. I mean, there's no Stargate, remember? So these medevacs can also hide in the dead space, and there's no way to hunt them down. The Bio is going to try and hide in that corner. He does get one medevac away. Meanwhile, main base, Blink DT is going to be going down, and that hurts. DT warps in, Disruptor does try to go down. Dark Shrine gets clicked on. And this game is all Q right now. Q has played a lot of sloppy, crazy, messy late games. His TVP is kind of famous for going to messy base trades and him just barely winning them. So this sort of game is, I think, his comfort zone. A lot of Terrans hate playing at this stage, but Q is calm as a cucumber. I think the saying's cool as a cucumber, Big, but we'll allow it. Just auditing my own commentary here with a wry smile as I... You know, solid as a cucumber, cool as a rock. Oh, he's angry like a turnip is Cure, dominating this map. Like, I don't think these are the sayings, man. We'll get there with time, guys. Feel free to backseat whenever I say those wrong. Got the drop moving into the natural. Stalker Disruptor trying to still roam. I think in this stage you need Storm, because then when the Libs come forward, if you ambush them with a Storm as they're sieging, you'll do massive damage. But it's so hard to use, it's so expensive. It's like one of the most technical things to do to add Storm into a game like this, so I definitely don't begrudge KRYSTIANER avoiding that. In a game where you're already having circles kind of run around you a little bit, it's really tough to go, oh yeah, I'm going to start microing Storm all over the place now. Gonna like scatter High Templar everywhere and try to ambush you. I do like that he's got a few observers out now. Catches this Liberator as well. And he's kind of playing like Zound did yesterday. He's just saying these bases get spread out. Your army's very like siege on siegey. Very annoying army to use. I would have loved him to go south and get these command centers, but he doesn't know they're there. Those 2 command centers free for the pickings. If he goes south, and I think he should be marauding in here and like snipe this planetary even. KRYSTIANER kind of has to dive aggressively just to not get overrun long term, but he's worried about the Libs cornering him and the Bio and the Ghosts cornering him. He links north, forces the Libs to siege, throws a defensive ball, but yet again, a big Marine run by. Gonna find a Nexus. Was that random nuke a misclick? Well, no. KRYSTIANER didn't have any detection for a while. Colossus almost goes down to the Marines. So he just figured, oh, maybe this will work. The libs get caught out. Stalkers on top from both sides. Oh my gosh. But dude, so many +3 liberators. The Stalkers on the left get massacred. The Stalkers on the right doing damage, but there's like literally too many libs. He can't even kill them all. This is why having some Storms is nice, because splash damage, the only aerial splash damage that Protoss has is Storm, and I'm still a little bitter about them knocking 10 damage off Storm this season. Don't think that one was super necessary, but Liberator does siege up on this base. A lot of people would still like to see Storm reverted to its old state from two seasons ago. The state that it had for most of StarCraft's history. But that extra 10 damage knocked off it, I think, was a little cruel, to say the least. Plasma Shield's on the way. We've got Robobay being rebuilt now. Christian is hanging in there. He's keeping it at about 10,000 units lost even. He's doing a very good job. Like, so many players would have just got super inefficient and died here, but I think these two bases getting kind of snuck up. It's really unfortunate. I would have loved to see a blink forward there. Take out a few of these libs. Problem with the Stalker count being at 36 is they really overkill on anything that's not a command center. So having this many Stalkers is kind of optimal for diving on planetaries and two-shotting them. Actually, can 36 Stalkers one-shot a planetary? Someone could crunch those numbers for me. Planetary has, I think it's 3 armor with Neo Steel. And, is it 3 or 4? I'm not sure. Stalkers do a good bit of damage. Gonna move south, try to catch these units. These are very expensive armies that Q is using for this. Okay, there we go. He blinks in. It's gonna be 3 volleys to take out that planetary. Not a bad move, but the libs are so quick to siege. Remember also, was it this season? I think it was the previous season. Liberators now, even though they don't get vision of their siege circle, they actually siege up much quicker in a group. It used to be when you siege them in a group, they'd kind of like take turns to siege up, whereas you can siege and unsiege 10, 15 Liberators much quicker now. So they are more agile, and once you have mass scan, it is actually a buff to the ranged Liberator composition compared to, 3 seasons ago. Triple drop in the south. Q is doing really well. For him, it's just don't make mistakes, you know? Just be careful. Don't mess up too badly. You should be okay. Planetary's there getting jumped on. You can see that's what the Stalkers do best, man. They are so good at diving command centers down. That's what you want in a massive, massive Stalker count for. The Stalkers up top will get taken out by that planetary. He blinks in again. It's another planetary going down. Oh, he pulled back too early. He pulled back too early. Oh, that's unfortunate. Mass repair saves the day. 2 Nexi have gone down on the south side. I think it's a total of 8. 8 Nexus have died this game, guys. That's not counting the ones that got cancelled. Oh, the Stalkers blink north. He's going to take out the units there that are defending. Will he get the planetary? I think it's worth one more volley. But he does get it. Nicely done. He throws some balls out as well. But as you remove these planetaries, the map control can run out. And sometimes you see Terran run out of money. The problem in this game is that Cure was dominating for so long, built such a big bank before this started happening. And Christian's economy is dying right now. He's out of gas mining. He does have more minerals mining right now, but losing all his infrastructure in the main is absolutely deadly. And it feels like as much as Christian is really putting up a good fight in this game one, it's going to be hard to actually find a victory. Ooh. Stalker's moving north. He's going to go to that north side, focus the orbital down. Libs will come and siege forwards. The orbital is floating away. This command center is going to get taken out as well. SCVs will get taken down. I love his mobility, but there's just no way to rebuild all of that. I mean, he needs to rebuild a ton of gateways, cybercores, pylons. It's going to cost him so much to do that, but he finds more command centers in the north, and it does often get frustrating. You feel like you're chasing your own tail as a Terran player, especially on these maps with spread out bases, but there's no storm or anything. Like in this moment where he runs forward, imagine a storm. When Q is getting kind of chaotic with his army control, that's where Storm can be massive in games like this. But look at that. He's going to try and corner him, perhaps. Q has got a really good setup. Afraid to kind of corner him. Christianer is going to lose this base as well. Zealots are going to run in there, and Christianer is going to lose. Gets cornered, has to throw in the towel. I think pretty good kind of stubbornness from Christianer. But unfortunately, it was that first blink timing didn't do enough damage. Then when he came for the big attack here, it was at about 8 minutes, I think it was. Just did not do enough damage. That was such an excellent trade for Cure at that stage of the game. And it felt like that just went so well for him. Really shut down. And from that point, you could see there was a 25-30 supply lead. GG, well played. Really nice game one for Cure. All All right, guys. On sides, KRYSTIANER in the top right side of the map, Kua in the bottom left, and KRYSTIANER is going to go for a forward proxy. You know what I don't like about this proxy position, guys? He's blocking the gold base. He should have built it here, so then he could build a Nexus later. Silly move, KRYSTIANER. Why aren't you planning ahead? Low IQ move. No, I think, not a bad move at all. You know what would be funny, guys, is if someone proxied here without thinking about it. The other guy could come up, kill the cooling tower, and crush the buildings while crushing these minerals. Haven't seen that ever happen, but that's a very cool scenario that could happen. The way it works is, I believe, because the debris has 2,000 hit points, it will crush anything that has less than 2,000 hit points. And I think it takes the damage of the things that it crushes. Like the number of hit points, if memory serves. I don't think there's any buildings with more than 2,000 hit points, so... Nice progress for KRYSTIANER, making it look like a bit more of a normal build than it is. Double gas for Kua. I think one of the hard things about finding damage here for KRYSTIANER is KRYSTIANER is known to be such an aggressive player. He's all timing attacks. That's his whole style. We talked about it in his PvP opening match with Hero, that he's going to proxy Robo, he's going to 4-gate. Like, he loves these builds, and he's really good at them. But if you're a bit too predictable with that, a guy like Kua, who is so good at camping, if he senses you're going to be overly aggressive, he is very happy to play the safest build ever and chill, as we saw in that last game. Two Stalkers on the way, guys. So it's one Zealot, two Stalkers, Reaper scouting for proxies. If he was building a reactor, I think that would be bad. I think building a second Reaper is kind of good. Problem's always going to be that two Stalkers beat the heck out of two Reapers and outrange them. So you can't really build a bunker, and that command center is forfeit instantly. Oh no. Oh, Q is in huge trouble, guys. This is a great build choice for KRYSTIANER. Q may have done a safe opening in terms of double gas, but he is exposed. He's going to start building Marines and Hellions. He's only got two Reapers for DPS. Honestly, what can he even do to defend this? He can lower the depot and try to surround with the SCVs. He might have to do it. Yeah, he's going to have to taste my drill. Drilly boys, assemble! He blows the conch and the SCVs charge into melee. This is like getting your engineers, your non-combat soldiers, you know, all of your supply guys to charge into combat with shovels. It's not a very good option. It's a sign of desperation. It's all he's got, though. The Reapers, most of them are being focused down. The Hellion and the Marine firing from the backline. Of course, KRYSTIANER is struggling to get that high ground vision. You see on his camera, these SCVs are doing a good job of body blocking so much economic damage. But KRYSTIANER was so committed with this build. He's only on 18 probes behind this. Can you believe it? And the Widow Mine's now up. It takes out a Stalker. Great Widow Mine. That was the full hit point Stalker. Damaged the other ones. KRYSTIANER does really big damage, but he's not got a Nexus. And he, of course, now needs to go expand. 500 minerals in the bank, so he will go build that Nexus. I love this pylon placement, by the way, guys. Artosis and Tasteless is what we're going to name these two. A lot of people let Artosis just be a no friends Nigel, but KRYSTIANER believing he does deserve a casting buddy, and I appreciate that. Oof. One Stalker just went down. That was a little sloppy there for KRYSTIANER. He can't be throwing these away, because if Kua breaks out and clears these gateways, that's like your entire infrastructure and production. You're kind of in a terrible spot if that happens. Reaper's going to kill a probe, forces the recall. Now, this is where if you're a real daredevil as Kua, guys, you grab all your units and you run to the gateways and try to depower them. It's a terrible move with 3 Marines, a Widow Mine, a Hellion, and a Reaper, and a siege tank that's almost out. But it would be hilarious to watch. Now, he's building a starport on one base, guys. Kua has not rebuilt the command center yet. If he'd rebuilt the command center, I think he actually would have had potential to get back in the game, but I think he's going to one base all in. Now, we've got 2 more gateways building for KRYSTIANER, which does make a lot of sense. Keep in mind, gateway production in these sorts of games would be amazing. KRYSTIANER does not use the gateway production at all. He will only be using warp gates, which means he has to spend a lot more money to transform all of these and then start warping in much slower than they would out of regular gateways. These are the scenarios against 2 and 1-based timing attacks and all-ins, where warp gates are far inferior to the gateway, but we know that KRYSTIANER never uses the new gateway production. And as a result, Kua might be able to find a sneaky comeback into this game. Does build 1 Stalker out of that gateway. Love to see it. But this is going to get depowered in a moment. And I think one of the problems is there's no sentry. There's no way for KRYSTIANER to find out that this is a 1-base commitment for Kua. So he might go, okay, you've denied this. You've probably expanded. If he doesn't realize that this is a one-base all-in follow-up, this game could get very dicey. Oh, he sneaks through the grass. The probe does spot him there. Stalkers come from this side. Now he knows what's up. But he needs to start producing, and he's already gone warp gates. It's unfortunate. Regular gateways would make way more units here. But instead, he's got to make extra gateways from scratch and just chrono boost maybe to warp in Stalkers faster. It's a big, scary army coming his way. He's going to try and build a battery. I think he needs to build pylons in the main. Great play by KRYSTIANER, realizing so many players wouldn't think to build pylons there because they're so busy microing Stalkers in 2 places at once. But KRYSTIANER, he's incredibly skilled, man. He's so fast-paced. Stalkers microing to that right side. These Stalkers on the left as well. The Widow Mine does get taken out. The tank does a nice shot on that side. These 3 Stalkers on the bottom right moving away. Marine is still there, randomly just shooting the Cybercore. He recalls a few Stalkers back to safety. KRYSTIANER's got these Stalkers on the outside as well. This is a very exposed push that you can't really reinforce, and the Marine support is rather paltry. It's 8 Marines, a Reaper, and a Hellion. As scary as that push looked as it was moving across, I look at it now and I think it desperately needs this reinforce. There's no charge on the way. It is Blink Stalkers, it is Immortals, and they have to get the job done. And unfortunately, these Stalkers are on the low ground, which is really bad. That tank's going to ruin them. Shield battery's gone down. He's trying to come in from this side with these Stalkers. KRYSTIANER, wow, he gets a volley on the tank. Good blink micro. He blinks on the tank. Oh, he's going to lose 2 Stalkers for it. I think that's, like, generally not the worst trade because tanks are everything for Cure in this game. But if he had 6 Stalkers on the outside picking off reinforcements, he could force Cure to overcommit. As it is, I think he might have to fall back to the main base. Tanks are going to unsiege. KRYSTIANER's going to have to... He's going to blink on this. He's going to dive on the tanks. It's go time. The tanks are in range, but he doesn't see that they're unsieged. They get time to siege up. The probes are pulled. KRYSTIANER, it's make it or break it right now. He has to hold this push. The Stalkers are going to take out the tanks. Good micro on those Stalkers, but he takes a few tank shots in the process. The Immortal's going to get jumped on by that massive pack of Marines. The Immortal waddling away, trying to get to the safety of the battery. The Stalkers on the outside, they can out-micro these Marines all day, man. All day. Those Stalkers should just get out of here. Honestly, it's worth just keeping them alive at this point. I think just backing away is fine. And that was a fantastic hold. Remember, Q is 1 base, KRYSTIANER is 2 base. There's a new tank arriving. As long as these... Oh, the Banshee's here now. Raven and Banshee. Of course, Raven makes perfect sense. There's DTs, a common counter to a 1 base all-in. 4 Stalkers do one-shot Marines. Still not the greatest army, though. This is a very close game. 35 army supply for Q. That Marine count is so hard to deal with. That Medevac has done so much healing. It's given so much value to this army. But these Stalkers intercepting that slow rally are so powerful as well. And that Nexus can tank for a while, but now that the Marines and the Banshee are wailing on it, he's being put on a timer. KRYSTIANER has to break out. I'd love to see him spread a unit to take the first tank shot. He's going to go with the Immortal. Immortal goes in, takes the first tank shot. The Stalkers will be coming in from both sides. The tank goes down. The Raven goes down. The Stalkers will disengage. A new tank's going to arrive. Well, they won't fully disengage, but, you know, trying to micro back the weak ones. The Banshee adding a lot of damage there. That Banshee surviving is kind of tragic for KRYSTIANER. He does see the new tank, and he has to blink away. But as long as he loops around this, I think he's in a great spot. If he loops all the way around, I think he's going to do well. But if he blinks across there, this could be bad. Ooh, Q is going to run. Dude, if he got that full medevac. Oh, the medevac will blink. He's going to unload the tank. 1 Marine already falling. He's setting up an ambush, though. Careful, KRYSTIANER. Oh, he chases in and does lose a Stalker there to that tank shot. But he's got map control again. I'd love to see charge. I feel like charge needed to happen yesterday, guys. Stalkers looping around here. They're going to try and deal with this. Can Q a transition? He cannot, guys. He's building a command center. I do not think he can transition. He's got a tank on the high ground, but dude, it's such a scary spot. The Banshees, of course, do have Cloak on the way, though. They could be game winners. There's a Robo up, and he's building an Observer. He realizes the threat. KRYSTIANER. Wow. Dude, to hang on in this sort of scenario is very hard. Spending money to make all those warp gates is so expensive, man. That's 100 minerals, 100 gas he spent. Still held the 1 base all in. Just goes to show how powerful his early pressure was. Really, really powerful early pressure. Stalker Observer is going to get on top. The Banshees are going to go down. It's going to be 10 probes. Not bad. 11 even. It's good damage, but it's not good enough when your command center's only just come. I mean, to be fair, okay, we did see a game. Who was it on Blackburn? We saw a game where they came back in 1 base like this. The Banshees killed like 30 workers in that game, though. I think it was Beyond against Hero, wasn't it? I think it was Beyond against Hero in one of the weekly cups on Blackburn, where he was on 1 base for like minutes. Or maybe it was Cure. But his Banshees killed like 30 probes, and he got right back into this game, even though he was so far behind. This one, though, is looking pretty desperate. I think Christian is doing a great job. He's got charge on the way. Love to see a forge for him and some upgrades coming in as well. Banshee's going to the right side. Sneaky Banshees, guys. He's already lost 2 Banshees. And no one builds more than 2, right? Joke's on you. I've got 2 more. Unfortunately for him, Christianer with great discipline leaves the 4 Stalkers. Forgets about the Observer, though. Oh, he didn't have the Observer on the control. He's going to attack at the same time. Christianer, keep it in your pants, mate. Oh, no. Oh, no. There's no need to attack at the same time as dealing with these Banshees. He loses another 10, 11 probes unnecessarily. Oh, and he's losing Stalkers on the other side at the same time. Christianer, 12 probes and a bunch of Stalkers just went down. Q has got the supply lead. Oh, no. What a turn. Guys, someone needs to bring up that game. I think it was a Pigasaur game I cast 2 weeks ago, right? Where semi-finals, I think it was either Hero versus Cure or Beyond versus Cure on Blackburn. And it was literally this game. Where it was like, Terran is super dead, Protoss is on 3 base, Protoss loses a ton of probes to a couple of Banshees, and suddenly Terran's back in the supply lead. Stalker Zealot coming in, though. Oh, there's no answer to that. Never mind, it's fine. Oh, wait, there's a lot of Marines. They were up in the main. They were up in the main. Oh, okay. He can defend this. I was like, damn, he's only got 4 Marines. I guess he is dead, but he had a lot of Marines in the main base, loses the front bunker and tanks, needs to move these tanks forward. These Stalkers getting some good value with the micro. Christian has got 3 bases mining, and it's actually really cute. Did he repower the gates in the corner as well, by the way? Stalkers getting good value before they pull back. He repowered the gates and paid to turn them into warp gates. That's very cool. I love that move. Remember that pylons are always fast warp in pylons now as well. One of those little buffs in amongst some of those nerfs for Protoss this season. He's got Templar Archives on the way as well. He's thinking about blinking in. That's definitely a no-go. There are 3 tanks there. Christianer loves the mass Stalker style, doesn't he? So I haven't seen that much of Christianer's TVP in the past, but I'm really identifying he is a mass Stalker lover, right? Oh no, Pommy out? Who's lagging? Who is it? Pommy! It's always Pommy! Oh, he's had a pretty good tournament so far. I think there was one game in Group A where... Pommy out, please. Sorry, Pommy. Alright guys, gave him a little countdown. We're back into it. Pommy had to go out. Pommy does have unstable internet sometimes. Especially with these cross-server games. Raindrop goes down south. Stalker trying to blink up north. 4th command center's on the way. No, that's a 3rd command center. Sorry. 13.5 minutes. I'm just thinking it should be a 4th command center at this stage, but it is only the 3rd. No engineering bay upgrades just yet. He's just started his first engineering bay, has Cure. Gonna go and hide over the little sailing ship there. Does that sailing ship have it? Oh, dude, there's a dead dude on the sailing ship. That's crazy. Oh, this map is so dark. There's like all this there's surfboards. There's like little kite surfy boats and things, and then there's just bodies everywhere. It's actually a catamaran, says chat. Yeah, catamaran sailing boat. Catamaran. Oof. So the 2 bits on the side, they're called the nacelles. I've watched Star Trek, guys. I know how it works. I don't think they can go into warp speed. A few more gateways are on the way. 4th Nexus coming up in the north as well. It's a catamaran, not a catamaran. Heck yeah. Oh, dude. Cute move. Christian has got a battery. Oh, Stalker's out of range of the battery. That's unfortunate. Zealot will help against this a lot, though. Should be able to shut this one down. Oh, look at this Chad. What's the bet this guy kills like 4 probes, guys? Chadicus Maximus charges into the mineral line. And he gets 2 probes. Make it 3. Actually, that was 4. Sorry, he got 4. I thought the other one must have come from somewhere else. But he does get sliced in half. Well worth his cost, though. And splash damage is only now coming in. Like, there's double Forge. He went Templar Archives, but he's just made Zealot Archon. So it's a very A-movie army for Christianer. It's a powerful army, especially against the delayed upgrades of Terran. Almost gets the Raven, but not quite. The Observer's trying to run away. The Bio is going to stim after it. And that Observer does get taken out. Leaves a Stalker and a Zealot in the main. Chronoing his upgrades. Stalkers, another one goes down. This wedge of tanks on the high ground has been menacing. Stalkers went through. You could tell he wants the Ravens so badly. If I was Cure, I'd be building missile turrets everywhere. I'd be expecting Dark Templar with how obsessed he is with killing my Raven. The main base is completely mined out of minerals and gas, so Cure's going to float that out. Fifth base comes up for Christianer to kind of achieve the same end. Stalkers on the front, running forwards. Christianer's hunger for that Raven, it's it almost seems like a tell, but it's not. Second Robo's there. Only 6 gateways so far. Now with 6 gateways you can make an immense amount of units, but you can't reactively do big warp-ins. So if a double drop catches you out, you warp in 6 Stalkers or Zealots, it's not going to deal with it. That's why, like, you get 10, 12 gateways, bam. You can warp in so many units and kind of have that extra mobility, that extra reinforce. But this has been a bit of a scuffed game on both sides. And Christianer, he has a big supply lead, but he hasn't built like an insurmountable economic lead or upgrade lead. Does need to start like +2 armor, which he's doing now. Colossus, things like that could all be great. Oh, Kua gets a bit eager. And the dropship does go down. Nicely done. Christianer is ahead on the overall numbers, but you got to look at his army and say it's a Zealot supply lead that he has. It's a I've mined more minerals than you this game. Economically, is it that big of a lead? I don't really think so. Not with this base now landing. The problem is this is not a planetary. Q is in a very fragile position. And there's no pressure from him, which means Christianer could like really dominate by having a really powerful next step. The question is, what is his next step? Colossus? 2-2. Mass Gateway. I think he's going to go for a big Colossus timing. Probably wanted to do it when his third Colossus popped. This is a very unfortunate supply block. I think when that third Colossus comes out, he probably commits to an attack. Problem is, he's going to be maxed for a while by the time that happens. Like, he's going to have been maxed for a while, and that gives time for Cure to catch back up. Which means the lead that he's had is not being translated into any sort of tangible advantage. And we saw what Cure did to him in late game of that last map. Christian has had an advantage for a while, but he's going to have to push with before the Colossus. I mean, if he just A-moves this base, honestly, I think he can do really good damage, but he's been a bit too passive, which so different for Christian. And normally he's in your face attacking all game long. Spending a lot of money making warp gates right now, but he's got to get a move on with an attack timing. Going to move forward. Zealot, Stalker, Colossus, take out the turret there. Anti-armor missile nicely done. Does blink away to dodge most of it. Zealot's running in the left side. It's a cute move. Love to kill that SCV, but he's going to prioritize saving the Zealots. Now he's gone 3 Colossus here, but the Viking count is growing. There are 2 starports. Cure's supply blocked though right now. He's building 3 commands, and his Cure is just trying to survive. And I think he's going to be able to. Cure's experience showing in this game, man. He's right now sailing on a it was a very rickety raft, but as time's gone on, he's reinforced it. He's made it much more stable, and it doesn't look like Cure's on the edge of drowning anymore. Even though it really felt like he should have been dead with where this game went earlier. Couple of Zealots come down the bottom side. No planetary means this is always going to be a little vulnerable. That's why he's making... actually, it's another orbital, not a planetary in front of it. Good movement here for Christianer. Finding some good value. Clicking that command center would be nice, but those EMPs scare him away. Those EMPs are deadly. Double Warp Prism and Warp Prism Speed are coming in, as well as 3-3. So Christian is going to try and do mass Zealot warp-ins in the back of the base. That could absolutely break Cure. Cure's got a middle base coming up, which I think if you can dive on it when he's not in position, that'd be great. I really think Christian should have gone Disruptors much earlier. I think if he went straight Disruptors and didn't bother with Colossus, he could have bullied Cure off some of these bases. Started doing that. Like, I think he should have skipped the mid game and gone straight to late game. Of course, we could see everything. He didn't know what the supply was. He didn't know Cure was being as defensive. We had that information. That's why he's kind of committed to the Colossus. They haven't really achieved anything, and still a pretty basic army. 4 Protoss here. The Disruptor production just now starting. He's taken a few more gases, which I love. He realized this is going to be a long game. I'd love to see a 3rd Robo would be really good too. Double Prism's going to go in the back. He's kept 20 supply free, so he's going to warp in 10 Zealots. Then he's going to try and dive the front at the same time. I think he should go south, dive on this base. But his army's too far away. The Prisms are already in there. His army's kind of just, oh, he's trying to avoid the sensor towers, but it means this attack is disjointed. Zealot DT warps in the main. The bio stims back to deal with it. One of the prisms does come over this side. His army is just idling. Oh, this is such a wasted opportunity. Because Kua, so much of his army in the main, he's so distracted. It's a good move for KRYSTIANER, but now finally, he starts getting the value. But Kua's already dealt with the drop at this point, so he's not as distracted. He responds very quickly. Few SCVs go down. No serious lethal damage, and Kua very happy to survive because he's in survival mode. He's just got to weather the storm. Long-term, his efficiency is going to beat that of Protoss. The Stalker dive is real. The planetary goes down. The Stalker's taking out some of these Vikings. He finally gets that Raven. His thirst no longer quenched by such a simple kill, even though he was hunting for it so desperately earlier on. Zealot's going to do a bit of damage down there as well. The Colossus is getting hunted down. Can he defend the counterattack? He does have 13 gateways, but that is a fearsome ball of bio. He's going to warp Stalker Zealot into the main base. The Prism will go down, but not before a lot of Stalker Zealot does warp in. These Zealots clear up the southern base as well. It is 3-3 versus 2-2, but +3 attack and +3 armor also pretty close on its heels here for Kua. KRYSTIANER way outsupplied right now. He's got 6,000 minerals, but if these gateways get depowered, he's not going to be able to spend it. Oh no, you do not want to be losing this game with 6,000 minerals in the bank, but I feel like this might be one of those games. This sort of messy situation normally favors the Protoss. They want to make the game messy. They don't want to let Terran get to late game, but he's got to start rebuilding gateways, and there we go. There's the move. Good move, good move. Kua idling his army a bit longer than he probably should have there. Would have loved to see a disruptor or two land shots on him as he walked up that ramp. Maybe a sentry to force field the ramp would have been a cute maneuver as well. Vikings are going to land there. KRYSTIANER's economy getting torn up. Now, Kua's economy gets hammered. I don't know if you can break the tank lib setup. And I think kill the command center and then go home seems to be the best move here for KRYSTIANER, or even just go straight home. Leaves these two command centers burning there. Kua's down to 26 workers. KRYSTIANER's going to lose all his production, but with all the minerals in the bank, and a base there, a base there, a base there. If he actually builds probes right now and just spends all of his money on probes, he can be good. The problem is if he builds like 30 gateways right now, spends his entire bank and only has 29 workers mining, sometimes you fall into the trap of rebuilding your entire production and not having any income to spend it. If he was at 50 probes, I'd feel much better about KRYSTIANER's position, but he's only on 30. Zealots get jumped on. The Lib's going to deal with it. Kua says, your main base is mine now. There is no way you're ever coming up this ramp. There's no disruptors, there's no storm, there's none of those big splash damage players here in this game. Here we go, Zealot Stalker Archon doing some big damage. The medevac goes down! Oh, brilliant play! Brilliant play. The Zealot Stalker Archon coming in, but no, it's an overcommit. Never mind. The Liberators and the tanks take care of it. He saw what he thought was an opportunity. What I said was a brilliant play, I think was a complete miscall. Complete miscall. KRYSTIANER's got to get these probes out. He doesn't have many of them left. He's going to lose a bunch more gateways. The problem is he's only got Zealot Stalker. The only way he wins this game is by swarming his opponent, and he's only got 3 bases left, 41 probes to 26. If he crushes this army, sure. I just don't see him crushing this army with just Zealot Stalker. Then again, if he could wrap around, maybe. Zealots from the left, there's some cannon battery that could help out. Stalkers on the right. But he's going to get in a corner, and bio in a corner is very scary. Ooh, he actually goes into the open a bit. It's a shame the Zealots are all charging from one direction. They're all getting stuck behind each other and attacking around a corner. Oh, not the angle KRYSTIANER was looking for. Should have been attacking from 2 different sides. And look at that! Crushes the mineral patches. Guys, the mechanic we've been talking about. Finally, someone decides to use it. I'd love to see him click on that one as well. Yeah, he's thinking about doing it. He's thinking about doing it, but oh my god, you could actually have crushed his bio there as well. If KRYSTIANER blinked and focused it, he might have been able to do it. Dude, that choke point though. Look at that choke point. No way his Zealots can get in there to clean this up. The rest of the bio comes forward. Kua. Isn't this just the way Kua plays PvP, guys? It doesn't matter how favored he is, what the situation is, what the game starts as. Every PvT in a big tournament that Kua plays ends in a sloppy, fun, scrappy, crazy base trade. He just doesn't know how to do it any other way. We love you, Kua, for it. It makes the games fun to watch. Always looks like he has to sweat a little bit to take the Protoss out of there. And yet his win rate is so frigging high that you wouldn't expect his games to often end up in such scrappy circumstances. He's way ahead now. No splash damage. Zealot Stalker is going to struggle to deal with such an advanced Terran army. Still got this base down here. He's trying to reprobe. If KRYSTIANER was able to save a bunch more probes. It's so crazy because when you're in these base trades, there's so many things to focus on at once. And there's always many suboptimal plays, even from the best players in the world. Like, even Serral in a base trade misses a lot of things, forgets to pull Overlords away or something like that. It's really, really difficult. And I think if we go back and check, it's just a lot of probes must have got caught by that army. Because if he got those away, I think Christian would have been able to make just so many Zealots and Stalkers on all these edge bases that he had. It would have been great. Ghosts sniping Zealots. Army moving forward. Cure, of course, can drop mules as well. He did keep 6 orbitals alive, which means his economy, whenever he secures a base, he's way ahead on the mining. Takes out this Nexus. Zealots do recall to the left side, so he can come in from both sides. But he needs Zealots to come from both sides as well, not just the Stalkers. The Stalkers try to blink across to the safety of the Zealots. The rest of the Bio Ghost arrives, and that army is heavily wounded. The Bio Ghost is going to push on through the basic Gateway boys. Chat says, does Q know about the base in the bottom side? He does now. He does now. Chatham is still in the high ground here with a few libs supporting. Third base will get focused, but at what cost? The Bio army's not far behind, and actually the orbital does not go down. That command center sticking out like a sore thumb does get snapped. But in return, the most important base of Christian got sniped. The Stalker's getting EMP'd, and he will have to tap out. A good outfit by Christian. He had his moments here today, but Cure, at the end of the day, comes out with a 2-0 victory. GG, well played. All right, guys, well, I hope you enjoyed those games. If you guys want to go the extra mile to support the channel, help us run big events like this, one of the best ways you can do that is actually going ahead and checking out some cool stuff over on our Patreon. Of course, we've got a bunch of exclusive rewards and perks there based on the different tiers you sign up for, and it's just a great way to support the channel. So go over there, click on that, and check it out. We'll put a link about here. Special thanks to everyone here on the Wall of Bacon who already is supporting the channel, as well as anyone if you've supported it in the past. We still appreciate that very much. But for now, a special thanks to Peternen, Dragos, Oko, HR, Conductors of the D-Town Express. Conductors? Oh my god, conductors! Conductors of the D-Town Express. We'll see you guys next time. Goodbye and good night.